Are you struggling to improve your credit score so you could purchase a car or perhaps even purchase your first home? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 ways that you can improve your credit score that will help lead to better opportunities for you to secure your financial future. Whether you're building credit from scratch or you're looking to actually boost your existing credit, these tips will help pave the way for your financial future. So the first tip is you're going to want to reach out to the 3 major credit bureaus and ask for them to provide you with a copy of your credit report. Now, every year, each of these credit bureaus are required to provide you with a copy of your credit report at no cost to you. So this is absolutely the first step that you want to take in this process. Because before you can get started on rebuilding your credit or establishing credit, you need to make sure that everything that's on your credit report is actually valid. Now, I've helped people in the past, and when they've checked their credit reports, there were fees on their report that they had no idea that were there. They were valid, but they didn't realize that they were there. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is you want to make sure that you're reaching out to these credit bureaus, getting a copy of your credit report so you can understand what's on there. And if there's anything on there that's negatively impacting your score, you can make a plan to pay those off. So the second tip is going to be reaching out to any of the creditors that are on your credit report and negotiating with them. So some people may not know that you can reach out to these creditors and you can negotiate with them. You can negotiate a payment plan. You can negotiate a lower bill. Some of these creditors will also allow you to negotiate a lower payoff balance and also give you a payment schedule for you to repay your debt. So during this process, you want to also make sure that any of the debts that you're paying to your creditor, that they are reporting that to the 3 credit bureaus so you can ensure that you're getting credit for making those payments, which will have an impact to your credit score. Now, the third tip to actually boosting your credit is paying off any of those delinquent bills that are on your credit report. So you've reached out to the creditors, you have set up and established a payment plan. Now you want to make sure that you're making those payments on time every month that will allow you to get positive reporting to the credit bureau for paying off those delinquent bills. Now, if you do not have credit and you're looking to establish credit, one of the things you want to make sure that you are continuing to do is paying all of your bills on time. Anytime you have a late payment for a bill, whether that's a mortgage payment, a car payment, credit card payment, those late payments can and will be reported to the credit bureaus, which will have a negative impact on your credit score. So you want to make sure that you're always paying your bills on time. And one of the things that I've done in the past that has actually helped me in this process was setting auto payments. So I knew I was getting paid on a particular day, and I knew that a bill was due on a particular day. I would automatically schedule those payments out from my bank, so I would ensure that I would not miss any of those payments. So missing payments is a major hit to your credit score and can reduce your credit by 20 to 50 points. I've seen it happen to people that I've helped in the past, so you want to make sure that you're not missing payment. So tip number 4 to improve your credit score is paying off debt strategically. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. So one way that you could do this is you tackle your small debts first. And you do this because you knock those debts out, and the monthly minimum, or the amount that you were paying on that debt each month, can now be rolled over to your next smallest debt to get that paid off. And that's considered the snowball method, which is paying off smaller debts and then using the money from those debts once they've been paid off to pay off your next debt, and so on and so forth. In the other method that you could strategically pay off your debt would be tackling the debts that have the highest interest rates first. So I know that there are some credit cards that have interest rates as high as 27%, 19%, that's not uncommon. So if you've got 3 or 4 credit cards and you've got one card that's got 23% interest versus one that has 7, it may make sense to tackle the one that has the highest interest rate first, because that's costing you the most money to carry that debt. And tip number 5 to improve your credit score is to keep your older accounts open. So if you have credit cards or you have a store charge card that is open and it doesn't have a balance on it, it's always a good idea to keep those cards and those accounts open, because length of credit is a factor in your credit score. So the longer credit history that you have, the more positive impact that the account has on your credit score. So I'm not telling you to keep those accounts open and use them. What I'm saying is if you have those accounts and they've been open for a while, they don't have balances on them, you want to make sure you keep those open, because those accounts that have a longer history of being open and in good standing with 0 to no balance on them does impact your credit score. So you want to make sure that you keep those open if you can. If you're getting some value from this video, please consider subscribing, and while you're at it, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And tip number 6 to improve your credit is to ensure that you're reducing your overall credit utilization. You want to keep your credit utilization to under 30% of your available credit. So for example, if you have a credit card and you have a $1,000 credit limit, you have a $1,000 credit limit on this card. If you want to try to keep the utilization of that card at $300 or less over a rolling period, credit utilization does impact your credit score, and the further that you get away from that 30% threshold will start to impact your credit score. Once you establish credit or you build your credit, then it's the 30% utilization is less of a factor, because your credit score is high enough to shield that from dropping your credit enough for it to have an impact. And tip number 7 to improve your credit score is to reduce the number of new credit applications or hard inquiries on your account. If you're looking to boost your credit, during that time, you want to make sure that you are not applying for any new credit cards, any new store cards. You're not going out and trying to get approved for a car loan. Those are hard credit inquiries, and you want to absolutely limit the number of hard inquiries on your account, especially in the rebuilding phase of your credit, because when you have a hard inquiry hit against your credit, it can reduce your credit, and it could set you back from all of that rebuilding that you've done so far throughout this process. It is really important that you are not doing anything during the rebuilding phase that can impact your credit score. Having a hard inquiry on your credit report during the rebuilding phase will absolutely set you back. And tip number 8 to improving your credit score is becoming an authorized user on someone else's account. So this would probably be more applicable to someone that's trying to build credit from scratch, a younger person, maybe they're 18 or 19. One way to establish credit or to start building credit would be to have someone, maybe it's a family member, a really close friend, allow you to become an authorized user on their account. And any charges that you make on your card and that are repaid within that credit card cycle will have an impact on your credit score. It'll have a positive impact on your credit score. And if you can do this for 6 to 12 months and be a authorized user on someone else's account, all of those payments made over the course of that 3, 6, 9, 12 months that you're a authorized user on their account will be reported to the credit bureau, and you will get positive credit for that on your credit report. And tip number 9 to improve your credit score is to ensure that you're monitoring your progress. So you have done a tremendous amount of work up to this point, and you have followed steps 1 through 8 so far, and you are doing a great job of building your credit. You want to make sure that you're staying on top of your credit report to ensure that all of the payments that you have been making are being applied to your credit, and you are getting credit from the 3 credit bureaus of positive payments being made. So it's extremely important for you to know what's on your credit at all times, especially during this point of the process where you're either establishing or building credit. And once things start falling off of your report, you'll start to notice your credit score start to increase. And tip number 10 to improve your credit score is to have patience. Now, I can tell you there are many different offerings out there that say, hey, you can improve your credit score by up to 100 points in as little as 30 days. I don't know that to be true, but you know what the old saying is. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. One of the really good things about the tips that I laid out is it will allow you to increase your credit score over time. You will not have to pay a credit repair agency going and getting credit loans or doing anything like that. But I think the biggest thing that you'll get out of this process if you follow these tips is you are creating the habits that are needed to not only get a higher credit score, but to maintain that higher credit score, which ultimately is going to open up avenues, financial avenues for you that would not be there if you didn't have the credit to make it happen. So I want to hear from you guys. So leave some comments down below and let me know what do you think about the tips that I laid out? And what are some tips that maybe I missed that you'd like to add? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.